Yeah. Yes. Yes. Man, y'all already know what time it is. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. Thank y'all for tuning and tapping in for another episode 220. It's a lot of episodes, y'all. And I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. It means the world to me that y'all showed up, pulled up, always loyal, always on time, and they're ready to have a good time tonight again for episode 220. I want to thank everybody that's already in the chat, already in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping in for another episode. Let's get the show started. I had some technical difficulties in the background, so but I took care of everything and everything is situated. So again, thank y'all. Uh, let's get right into it. Thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word buttons. Button hyphenated sign in the word snaps.com. Don't forget, don't be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Don't try to stand out for being negative. Stand out for being positive. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Hate has a location. It's just not here. So we're here to have a good time. We do talk about everything from music, sports, entertainment, social commentary, internet things. So we're gonna have a good time tonight, as always. Shout out to the chat, man. Yo, the chat in here, each and every episode, holding it down. The loyal crew is an understatement. Shout out to Shay. First comment. Y'all be killing me with the first comment of the night, which is pretty funny actually. Shout out to Winter, the loyal crew. Mom, Brooklyn, you're. Shout out to Cole, always loyal. Shout out to King P, Party People. Shout out to Tree, Hey Chat and Ashley. Shout out to Ebony, just made it. Everyone, hey Ashley. My dog Rowan Jack, man, holding it down. My dog, one of our day ones, one of our big bad shoulders. Pause. Again, thank you for tapping in, major contributor to the show. Discount over here. Okay. Uh, I see you, King P, talking about them Chiefs, Mahomes. Yeah, I know we had a rough one today. We had a rough one today. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. I ain't mad at that. It's a part of the game. Uh, just can't double check. And we also got rolling on the mods as well too. So I already know how he gonna do. He already timed somebody out with like within within minutes of the show. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Do your thing, man. Yeah, I love the fact that y'all really be looking out for me in the chat, man, for real. Cause when there's no mods, they go crazy, and y'all know me. I don't care, you know what I'm saying? I let them cook a little bit, then I get them up out of here with with some tickets. But you know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. Uh, yeah, man. Shout out to y'all, and again, thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Last episode cut off maybe like 6 minutes before I really want to cut off because of battery time. So again, for all those who was in last episode, again, thank you. All right, y'all. With no further ado, let's get this thing started. First segment of the night: popular opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records, as you see right there. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label model is create, document, and inspire. Also, OUV Records not only will have their own website, but also their own app. So be on the lookout for the OUV Records app coming out soon, where you could get the music directly. So basically, OUV Records will be operating as its own Apple Music, Spotify, where you can get the music directly, which will give you a better listening experience as as listeners, and a better album experience when streaming and all that. So it's going to be very exciting, very fun tool to have. So be on the lookout for that as well. All right, y'all. First question of the night. Again, popular opinions. Yeah, y'all know the rules. These are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. All right. First question. Deion Sanders, right? So the prime effect. Deion Sanders' job results at Colorado. The prime effect. Deion Sanders' job at Colorado as the head coach. Number one, culture over wins. Number two, result-oriented business. Number three, the transfer portal chaos. I'm sorry, transfer portal crisis. Number four, not a good fit. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, the prime effect. Deion Sanders' job results as the Colorado coach so far. Number one, culture over wins. Number two, result-oriented business. Number three, the transfer portal crisis. Number four, just not a good fit. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. The chat is already going with two. They saying two in the chat, which so far is result-oriented business. Me personally, all of these kind of like fit because there's something to be said about culture over wins. The fact that he is Coach Prime, and mind you, he didn't go to a Michigan. He's not at Ohio State. He's not at a Texas. He's not at a school that's basically their own power without him. Colorado haven't been good in about 30 years. If y'all don't remember Colorado from 2000 and further back, like from the 80s, 90s, and in the early 2000s, Colorado was always a good football team. They was always, for the most part, contenders. You couldn't roll up in there and it was sweet. Deion Sanders did turn it around. Now, mind you, first year they went 4-8, but let's keep this real. He didn't have Travis Hunter for 4 games. He didn't have Shador, I believe, for like 2 or 1 of those games. So there was like injuries amongst that first year team. But the very next year they went 9-3. The very next year he got a Heisman winner, not just a Heisman, with a guy that cleaned the board, all those damn awards, not to mention a Johnny Unitas award winner, best quarterback in the country. That's not easy to replace. And obviously, when you seen Colorado this year, they was a quarterback away. They was a big play guy away. So that made the major difference from them being 3-9 this year, because they easily could have won 8 games this year. That's how close they was in all the games this year. So there's a part of it that's culture over wins for me. The transfer portal crisis is the fact that they missed on the transfer portal this year. A lot of the juniors, a lot of seniors that they brought in this past year, they wasn't that good. And they were supposed to come in as a finished product, and they wasn't that good. They still needed more development. So that's where, the disconnect, and then there was a lack of leadership when things started to turn south, because you have renegades on your team opposed to homegrown guys who are freshmen and grown into their position. Now, just not a good fit. I don't believe that is not a good fit. I think it's still a good fit for Colorado and Coach Prime. I still think it's the best fit for him at this point in time. And people got to realize Colorado has invested into Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders have invested into Colorado. So he's not going anywhere. So I'm going to agree with the chat. It's a result-oriented business, because when he wins, people hold him accountable. When he loses, people still hold them accountable. So it's a result-oriented business under that guideline for me. So in the chat, they saying we riding with the Sanders family all day, every day. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. And also result-oriented business. I went with result-oriented business at 44%. The rest of the world, and mind you, 12,000 people voted on this, went with number 2, result-oriented business. Not mad at that, because again, every game the world holds them accountable. I spoke about it on the past show where people are so fixated on what he needs to do as a coach, but they don't do that with any other coach and any other team that's struggling. There was plenty of teams that underperformed this year. Ain't nobody talking about none of them, but they talking about Coach Prime and Colorado Buffs. So, but it is a result-oriented business. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Merit-driven. That also has something to be said about that too, Rowan Jack, because last year when they went 9-3, even though honestly they could have went even further than that if that offensive line was better. Nobody had nothing to say after Travis Hunter won all those awards, Shador won awards, and the leadership for that junior and senior team. Nobody had nothing to say. So it is merit driven as well too. Absolutely. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Biggest reality check from the Diddy Reckoning doc. Biggest reality check from the Diddy Reckoning doc. Number 1, necessary exposure. Number 2, entertainment exploitation. Number 3, too little, too late. Number 4, not a big deal. Let me know what y'all think about that, in the chat. Again, biggest reality check from the Diddy Reckoning documentary. Number 1, necessary exposure. Number 2, entertainment exploitation. Number 3, too little, too late. Number 4, not a big deal. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I've seen clips of the Diddy documentary. I've seen clips. It's very hard for me to sit there and watch it, mainly because I feel like from what I've heard other people speak on, that I already am privy to the information. And there's been so many documentaries on Biggie and Tupac. There's been so many documentaries on Diddy's business practices with former artists, with companies. So all this information, honestly, just feels like it's jam-packed into one documentary. And, 50 Cent, had that documentary. So at the end of the day, I feel like I already know what's probably in this already. So based on what I gather, honestly, this is a big deal. But this only affects Diddy. This doesn't affect hip-hop. It doesn't leave a stain on hip-hop. So me personally, when I look at this, I'm going to say it's entertainment exploitation. Because not everybody, but people had knowledge of this information for years. I don't know, maybe because I grew up in New York City and I'm born and raised from Brooklyn, New York. A lot of this stuff is not new to me. And this is not going to change anything. When Diddy finally comes home, it's not going to change the fact that he's still going to find a way to be successful in the business space. It's not going to change the fact on how people really look at him for real, because the people that need to really look at him different, I mean, how does it affect his business? Like, that's like the main thing, right? When something is supposed to change your image, it's supposed to affect your bottom line. I don't think it affects his bottom line at all. I think it changes it. It changes the route that he will go under, but there's something for redemption. And a lot of things that he went through, say what you want, is not criminal behavior. Say what you want. A lot of stuff that he was charged for was just based on freaky boy time. Like, I didn't even know you could get charged for flying somebody out. I didn't even know you get charged for that. Thank God I don't fly. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I say, yo, you pay for your ticket. You know what I'm saying? I got the spot already, baby. That's the type of time I be on. You know what I'm saying? But we're not talking about me. You feel what I'm saying? But the point that I'm making is he's on freaky boy time. He's on freaky boy time. Whatever he does in his bedroom is what he does in his bedroom, right? But at the end of the day, even if his practices in the business space is not popular, it's still not criminal, because when he did business with people, they was in their right mind. They had their lawyers read over it. They had to take some accountability for doing business with him. Regardless if he caught them at their low point, he still did business with him. So at the end of the day, the criminality, it's freaky boy time. So that's why I say that regarding that. It's entertainment exploitation at its finest. You don't even need somebody permission to do auto by what they call it, auto by I'm saying the word up oil. I'm saying it too fast. Autobiographical movies or documentaries on somebody. I can't believe I was fumbling on that word, but I digress. Y'all get the point that I'm making. You don't need, long as somebody is a public figure, anybody could do anything and say anything about a public figure. The flip to that is that you have to have proof, because now when that public figure sues your ass for defamation and you don't have the proof, guess what? You have to pay, you got to pay damages. So you have to have your proof. So that's another thing in itself. So yeah, so that's why I went with entertainment exploitation. In the chat. I'm seeing different answers. I'm also seeing entertainment exploitation. I also seen not a big deal. Shout out to Roman Jack. He was looking out for me. Autobiography. I couldn't get that word out, bro. Couldn't get that word out. Only when I'm live, certain words I can't get out. Pause. And it's just because I'm live. We do need another look to fill. Okay. He hold on, let me get this guy comment. Hey, bro, from England. Hey, shout out to England. Shout out to England, man. Shout out to England. Me magic. Yeah, I see it, Roll Jack. I see it. Two for me. As wrong as Diddy might be, there was still an open agenda behind the documentary. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. And I also agree. There's an agenda behind the Diddy documentaries. Mind you, this is not the only documentary that came out. There's been several on Tubi alone that came out way before the case even concluded. So there's obviously an agenda. And again, I don't do the practices that he did in his case. That's neither here or there. But it still doesn't remove the fact that there are hidden agendas, especially when it's cultured men that are afoot. When you have other guys of other cultures that go through their thing, they go through their case, and then people just move on. It doesn't change anything. So with Diddy in itself, it's meant to change, but it's not going to change, especially for the people he's going to end up doing business with at the end of the day. So, and best believe, he already has a team that helped him pivot. It's just when he comes out, he was going to get to course of action when he comes home. So I don't think it changes anything. So again, I went with entertainment exploitation. In the chat was a mix between entertainment exploitation, necessary exposure, too little, too late, not a big deal. The rest of the word at 48%. Mind you, over 6,000 people voted on this. Went with necessary exposure. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. And I'm not mad at that take, because if you think about it, most people who are famous are in the business to be famous. Being famous in itself is a skill, is a talent. Doesn't mean you're great at what you do. It means that you're in infamy. So some people don't mind paying the price of fame, being in infamy. Like, when's the last time we talked about, and it's not no disrespect to Diddy, because Diddy has put a lot of music out, whether it's through himself or through his artist or through his label. But when's the last time we really talked about a Diddy album, or somebody from his label or from his camp? The last time we talked about an album, but he stayed in the headline off of infamy, which is being famous. So the necessary exposure. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. I've heard a lot of people talk about this segment, and they really, y'all really mess with this segment. I appreciate that. I actually put thought into what Hollywood Need to Ask Us. So basically, I feel like I got better ideas for movie or a movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us, I would love to see a movie, and I would name this called The Echo Chamber. I would love to see a movie based on learning who's the real audience. That would be the theme of the movie. Who's the real audience? So the movie would be about a former TV, what they call that, TV host, and a TV actor, legendary, and he's declining, and he finds himself in a stage of a hyper violent but authentic comeback to win back his hardcore fans and audience, but only to discover that his primary demographic is data driven, algorithm catering, and suburban thrill seekers. So I would love to see a movie based on that premise. Basically understanding he's trying to have his audience, but it's like, who is the real audience? The people that's watching is the real performers, and he's the real audience. So it'll be that dynamic, and that's why I will call this movie The Echo Chamber. Basically, the artist or the crowd, who's the real audience. I would make this rated R. I would have this as a drama genre. The actors, principal actors I would have for this movie would be the actress Monique, Mike Epps, Tay Diggs, Method Man, Gail Bean, Leo Woodle. I hope I said his name right. Leo Woodle, and Demi Moore, legendary actress Demi Moore. And the director of this movie I would have as Jordan Peele. My art director would be Mark Tinsley. And I think this will absolutely be a home run hit. This is something different that nobody has really seen before about understanding who's the real audience, because as an artist, as TV personality, people that are like TV personalities or whatever the case may be, entertain you, the power of entertainment. But in entertainment, you kind of have to learn what your audience want to see and what they like you talking about. So who's really the audience and who's really the performer? So I think that will have like a very interesting take on entertainment in itself. So that's my Hollywood Need to Ask Us for this episode. Rowan Jack, you a stupid, talk about Terry Crews can play the algorithm. He's the voice of the algorithm. I sign up for Terry Crews if he's gonna be the voice of the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? You stupid. Yeah, man, that's funny. So Terry Crews is gonna be the voice of the algorithm in this movie. Shout out to Ebony. Ashley, I really talent for creating great movie ideas, because I would really watch this if it came out. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I have a good time coming up with different movie ideas because I want to get into the movie space at some point in time. I've always had an affinity for movie production. I starred and created a show called What Strangers Do. You catch it on YouTube. You catch it on Button Snaps. And it was a great show. I had a great time doing it. And that's the type of space I would love to be in someday, but creating my own. I don't want to be a part of Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? So, and telling our stories with our own agenda and powers behind it as well. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. You know, I'm going to give y'all 3 must-see fire movies. It's Sunday night. Got the rest of the week to tap into this. So, first movie y'all must see if y'all haven't already, came out 2014, directed by Tate Taylor. This movie stars Chadwick Boseman, Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer, Nelson Ellis, Dan Aykroyd, and Lenny James. This movie is called Get On Up. This is the I keep stumbling on that word. This is the autobiography, the autobi the auto by I can't get the word out. It's the movie based on James Brown. And later on, when I get off live, I'm gonna be saying that word effortlessly like I always do. I don't know what it is with live. I always stumble on that word, but it's the movie of James Brown. It's a must-see fire movie. I won't spoil it for you, so make sure y'all tap in to see the movie Get On Up. Uh, Second must-see movie came out 1997, directed by Marco Barbello. This movie stars Alicia Silverstone, Belenco del Toro, Christopher Walken, Jack Thompson, Harry Connick, and Nicholas Tortorello. This movie is called Access Baggage. This movie is kind of quirky, but actually good and funny. This movie is about a young lady who stages her own way to watch the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for you. It's nothing like watching a movie that somebody tell you is good, but they don't spoil it for you. So make sure you tap into this movie. It's a must-see movie. Third and final must-see movie came out in 1999, directed by Byron W. Thompson. Movie stars Seth Green, Brad Roll, Zoe McLennan, Stanley Camel, wow, William Minnick, and Alan Sider. This movie is called Stonebrook. Fire must-see movie about a young man making his way to college due through a family friend, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. It's a must-see movie, has a crazy twist. So make sure y'all tap in to see Stonebrook. So my three must-see movies for tonight. Number one, Get On Up. Number two, Access Baggage. And number three, Stonebrook. And y'all can catch these movies either on YouTube, Tubi, as well. So make sure y'all tap into these movies. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. You know, I'm going to give y'all profile artists to tap into, whether it's new or old, whether it's hip-hop or R&B. I'm going to give y'all some fire artists regardless, as always. So my tonight's artist, profile artist, put these three songs on your playlist. Rap artist name, I hope I'm saying it right, Larizzi. Make sure y'all tap into that artist. His name is Larizzi. Tap into the song. Put this three songs on your playlist. Tiana Anthem. Fire song. Tiana Anthem. Number two, Hungry Flows. It's Hungry Flows. Fire song. Hungry Flows. And number three, Hardhead. Fire must hear song. So put those three songs on your playlist again by the artist Larizzi. Again, number one, Tiana Anthem. Number two, Hungry Flows. And number three, Hardhead. Put those three songs on your playlist. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Y'all know I'm going to give y'all a fire must-read book. Make sure y'all tap into the book, The Black Male Handbook, A Blueprint for Life by Kevin Powell. Great must-read book. Y'all know me with that word. I hate that term, black men, mainly because that's not what we are. We're not 3/5 of a human being. We're not 3/5 of people. And I don't subscribe to what they give us. They gave us colored. They gave us black men. They gave us Negro. They gave us all these terms. We need to define our own terms, and I use culture because that's what we are. But anyway, this still is a must-read book based on the principles of this book. Again, it's called The Black Male Handbook, and again, it's a blueprint for life by Kevin Powell. Make sure y'all tap into the book. And they gave us African American. Yes, thank you, Roman Jack. They gave us all these terms, and they got nothing to do with nothing, and we're not getting closer to our lineage in this country or anywhere else. See what I'm saying? Even Africans don't claim a foundational Americans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they really trying to displace us. Uh, it's a whole nother conversation, which I'm always happy to go into. But for the sake of the show, as of right now, because it's not focused on that, we're gonna move this along. Don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show, even if you did it already. Okay. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Send them to turkey or nah. Send them to turkey or nah. Y'all know the rules of the game. When people do and say stupid stuff, we send them to Turkey because Turkey has some of the craziest laws we've ever heard. So it's an inside joke on the show that we send people to Turkey. So y'all know the rules. Type in T to send them to Turkey. Type in N not to send them to Turkey. First one of the night. Unnamed content creator intentionally misrepresented rap legend Busta Rhymes as Tracy Morgan while asking for a picture. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending this man to Turkey or not? Are we sending this man to Turkey or not? Again, unnamed content creator. He purposely mistaken Busta Rhymes for Tracy Morgan. I don't know if y'all ever seen them type of videos where, you know, the person go up to him like, hey, Tracy Morgan, you know, they'll say a different person name other than what the celebrity is and try to get a picture at the same time just to see that look on that said celebrity face. So he pulled that on Busta. Busta wasn't having no parts of that, and he let him know about it. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. They saying send them to Turkey. They saying nah, just being funny. There's two ways to look at that. There's one side of me that, me personally, I wouldn't take so much stock into that. That's just me personally. That's just me and my personality. That's just me understanding that some people is doing things on your back based on for their sake of the content. I get that. But I also can understand Busta Rhymes crash out because he is somebody that's helped build hip hop. Whether you agree, like his music, dislike his music, you can't refute the fact that he helped build hip hop. At a very pivotal time, late 80s, all through the 90s, early 2000s, still very active today, still dropping albums. He is one of the architects of hip hop in the sense of taking it to a whole nother level. Is he the foundation? No, he's not. But he's a part of helping take it to the next level, for sure. So, again, if I'm Busta Rhymes, I probably wouldn't take it serious because I'm Busta Rhymes. I know who I am. I'm a legend in the game. This is supposed to be a ha-ha moment. This is supposed to help this young man in excelling with his content and his numbers. Okay, cool. But I also can't be mad at him for crashing out a little bit if people are playing with his legacy. If people are making joke, like small jokes turn into big jokes later on. So he could have easily took it that way as well too. And mind you, Busta Rhymes is celebrated not just in hip hop, but also in reggae music culture as well. So he's a big deal in this music space. So I could understand the crash out. Would that be me if I was him? No, but I'm not him. So again, I can't tell him how to react to it. Me personally, so me, I can't send him to Turkey regarding this. Well, I can't be mad at Busta for this. So I would have to send the young man to Turkey for this because some people gonna play it and some people are not. Some artists or legends, they will get it, laugh it off, and keep it pushing. Some legends are not. And if you're going to be in the content creation space, everybody not going to be for you, bro. Everybody's not going to be for you. It would have been great for him to laugh that off, gave the, like, yo, that was funny, man. Yo, what's your name? Yo, go tap into Buster. Go tap into him. That easily could have been the way he could have handled that. But he chose not to because he wanted to make sure that people don't play with his name. That that he worked hard to build. So there's something to be said about that as well. And I can't be mad at Buster for that as well, too. Uh, I will call 50 Cent Terry Crews to his face. I'm not, again, a joke is a joke. And 50 Cent, he probably would handle that differently. 50 Cent has the personality where he would probably laugh that off. You see what I'm saying? Like, everybody won't be so mad at that even when they're super legendary. 50 Cent is super legendary, right? He's just as much as a legend as Buster. I would say 50 is more versatile in a space where 50 acts, 50, does a multitude of things, where Buster is more so relegated into the music space, even though he's also a good actor. But you've seen 50 Cent, not only just act, but, buy, uh, production space. He's into the TV space, in front of the camera, behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? So he's an author. So it's a multitude of spaces that 50 Cent is in. But again, yo, all legends is not going to react the same way. So I really can't send Buster to Turkey regarding that. And it's also a backwards mentality, in my opinion, because, again, when some people take it as, like, again, it was a joke, right? But because a lot of people could be casual, they would think he's a joke moving forward. So I can understand where he was like, yeah, we're going to nip that in the bud. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Send them to Turkey or nah. Send them to Turkey or nah. Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Rapper Clinton Adams, a.k.a. Clinton Lord, was charged for luring women to a fire-ravished area or areas to essay them. Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. He's facing felony gape charges for 90 years in prison. Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Let me know. Again, are we sending him to Turkey or not? Are we sending him to Turkey or not? I think this right here is an easy one. This is a layup. This is Turkey all day. Some people may say, well, those women have to do a better job in choosing the type of guy that they leave the club with or leave with. Okay, granted, very granted. But this doesn't give the excuse to be on wild boy time. This is not even wild boy time. This is on predatory time. This is predatory. This is predatory. And every man got their own thing, bro. I've never understood I just never understood guys out here gaping. I just never understood that. How can I say this? This one thing to, like, role play. You're into role playing and you have your woman and, you put yourself in situations that y'all would never be in, right? But it's a part of the role play, and it's done out of love. It's done out of, like, having a controlled experience, right? But there's another thing to be out here taking it. I don't, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the New York in me, where, because it's super competitive, and this is why I say the New York in me, where when you meet a woman, it's like you want to game a little bit to get it popping. You don't want to force that. Yeah, I gotta force you. Nah, I'm cool. I'm not the dude for you, baby. I don't engage in them activities. I'm not gonna force you to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's something about meeting a woman and her liking you, feeling your energy, feeling the way you talk, feeling the way you look, and y'all go do some grown stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's just based off your energy. That's based on your swag. That's based on your aura. That's different to me, opposed to just, like, basically luring, them somewhere just to take it. Like, that's wild. I just never subscribed to that type of energy, and none of my friends that I know do that as well too. Like that's that. That's not even weird. That's predatory. So I'm glad that he's facing the time that he does. He should never see the light of day. And he did this to multiple women on different occasions, obviously. And obviously this was all a ploy to do what he was doing. So rapper Clinton, aka rapper Clinton Adams, aka Clinton Lord, sayonara. Throw away the key. Don't let that dude out of jail ever, ever, ever. Women need to start packing heat. Man, I'm not. I don't know about packing heat. I don't know about packing heat. But a nice stun gun, a nice stun gun go a long way. A nice stun gun go a long way. It go a long way. You give the average woman a gun. Nah, 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 nah. A stun gun, that's it. Even a stun gun is kind of risque. A stun gun is kind of risque, but a stun gun you could come home from. You see what I'm saying? Nice little voltage. You know what I'm saying? They keep in the tuck, And I'm all for the stun gun. I told my daughter, yo, you got a stun gun coming your way because she's of age and all this stuff. Stun gun coming your way. You know what I'm saying? So, but definitely a stun gun for sure. But good riddance to that rapper, Clinton Lord. All right, y'all. Moving on to our yeah. Y'all like they laughing at me in the chat. Don't forget that them likes hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. If this is your first time tapping in, this is the Cannon Brothers Get a Rap podcast, and I am your host, Ashley Lovechild. All right, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, in the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, in the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. Real quick, I want to say rest in peace to the legendary actor Peter Green, who was born 1965 and who passed away a couple days ago. He's probably most famously known for playing like the bad guy and the villain from the movie The Mask, the first original Mask. But he's been in several movies. Peter Green, legendary actor, and rest in peace to him, and obviously condolences to his family. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. The end of an era. The end of an era. Hot 97 has concluded the Ebro in the Morning show, which includes Peter Rosenberg and what's the Angela Styles? Is that her name? I could be saying her name wrong. Ebro in the Morning. What's her name, y'all? Her name is not coming up. I'm just seeing Ebro and Peter Rosenberg. But there was a lady on the show, Laura Styles. Yeah, that's her name, Laura Styles. So it's the end of an era for Hot 97. I remember Ebro was also the program director for many a long time. And I will say this. Hold on, let me see. Roll Jack, you don't see me. Yeah, you right. You don't see me. Yeah, I mean, I remember. Like I said, with Ebro in the Morning, it's definitely an end of an era. But I have to be honest. I have to be honest. I was very critical of Ebro being the program director, and basically having that stint of Hot 97. Mainly because when he took over Hot 97, or when they gave him the reign to basically be in charge of New York City music, he's not the main reason for it, but he's a part of New York City music radio wise not sounding like New York City. Mainly because a lot of the artists from New York City wasn't heavily supported. This is a fact. When you go to New York City radio, it doesn't sound like New York City. New York City has still an underlying culture when it comes to music, which means New York City, you have mainstream and then you have independent. And you have a lot of independent artists for years, for the last 20 years, that had fire music and was lacking support of the radio station. You will hear for years that you have to do this to even get to a sit down with Hot 97 or Ebro. You have to have this motion over here and that motion over here. A part of having motion is being supported by the local radio station. And even though New York City, it may be local to local artists, but it's not local radio. It's international radio for real. If you make it in New York City, you make it everywhere with your music. And that's very real, because even then and still, have New York scene fell off the way it did from the 90s, mainly because of the direction of the program direction from all major radio stations. They treat it as a national radio station opposed to having a space for New York City artists. So because of that, you lose New York City artists. So it's kind of like comparable to college sports, right? When you take over a college team, when you don't recruit in your house, if you don't dominate the state, then other states and go to other places. So now you lose credibility within your own space and place. So the same thing with the radio station. And the radio station in Hot 97 with Ebro, and the reign of him being program director, New York City did lose its way in space through Hot 97. Hot 97 used to be the destination spot for rappers and hip hop music. We went through Hot 97. Power 105 became a necessity. Power 105 gave us more of a space and a roadmap to, they were like, yo, this is what you need to do to get on radio with us. And if you follow that formula, we're on here. But they gave us a real space for independent artists. And everybody not going to be a mainstream artist, but you also have to let the audience decide who's going to be a mainstream artist. Hot 97 was a part of that notion and mindset where you had to come in hot to even get that look, to get that radio spin. You have to have shows all over the place, and then we'll support you. Where in other states, where other states picked up, when you talk about Chicago, when you talk about Atlanta, when you talk about Las Vegas, you talk about Florida, Miami, the local stations support the local artists before they become mainstream. That's a part of helping our artists becoming mainstream. So when they started to pivot from that way of breaking artists, Hot 97 lost its luster as far as becoming a destination place for local artists to shine, for local artists to have a real space and place to give us a navigational map. Yo, come here. We're going to listen to the music. If it's hot, we're going to rock. If it's not, we're going to let you know, and we'll see you next time around. But there has to be a roadmap. And because there wasn't, you're seeing people speaking against Ebro and that team. There's not going to be well wishes. And he had made a statement saying basically that he wasn't going to concede to the new space and era of radio, and that the new radio man is basically a shareholder or one of the owners in the new casino. So he's really viewing this as a business opposed to holding up a space for cultured music. Where was all this energy throughout the years? Letting a few people in is not the same as giving a navigational system to the local artists to help them become major. That's where it lost. Because like I said before, in other states, in other markets, the local stations will support that artist, in fact, and helps to turn that artist major. And what that means is that artist could go to the radio station, speak to somebody. How do my music need to sound as far as quality? I make my own type of music, but as far as the quality, how do it need to sound? Okay, once I get that quality, would y'all give it a chance? Yeah, we're going to give it a chance. We're going to play it and we're going to let the people decide. And when the people decide, it is what it is. And that's how it really worked. In other markets, in Atlanta, you had a whole lot of different DJs coming up and was playing the local talent. And the people decided whether they like it or not, which and helped that artist become major, which helped that artist come back and be a part of the festivals and things of that nature. And that's what New York lost. That's what New York City, that's why New York City is so competitive. And instead of using each other to build each other up, we use each other to make it seem like we're bigger than each other and there's no real growth. And that's how it's been for the last 20 something years in hip hop in New York City through radio. And in turns with the internet buzzing, we no longer needed New York City radio to be popping if we're from New York. We solely depended on what we call pirate radio, internet radio, independent radio stations, going from different neighborhood to different neighborhood to build up that audience. So that way we could throw our own shows, make about, 5,500 to $8,000 per show. You do about 8 shows a year. That's not so bad. Obviously, expenses and things of that nature, but that shows motion that you could split one way. That artists had to do. Getting radio spins outside of New York. And main reasons why we got spins outside of New York, because we talented. And then when we get the spins outside of New York, now it builds the motion. Now y'all want to play something. So you're not going to see people sad that Ebro and basically his reign at Hot 97 is over, because look how you left it. Like, let's keep it real. Hot 97 back in the 90s was popping. Ed Lover was the face of Hot 97. Him, obviously, Funkmaster Flex. These guys was the face of Hot 97. And it gave New York that feeling. It was a part of the format where New York City radio sound like New York City radio. There's a lot of fire artists in New York City right now, from Brooklyn, from Queens, from Harlem, from Spanish Harlem, from who else I'm missing? From Staten Island, believe it or not. A whole lot of fire artists, and having lack of radio support from our stations was a big miss for y'all, not for us, for y'all. For y'all, because it taints the culture. Now other cities can say, well, New York, y'all not the same, but y'all not out rapping. Y'all not making better music. And that's a whole nother conversation in itself, because it's proof in the pudding. But at the end of the day, where was our local support? Why are we getting more spins in other markets more so than those other markets' local artists? Is because of the talent. But we don't get that same love at home. Yeah, so it's good riddance for Ebro. I think Ebro did have good intentions at some point, working at Hot 97, but he dropped the ball severely, because you are looked at as the face holder for Hot 97 for a long time. And in that time, did you leave it in better hands, or did you leave it in a better space or in a worse space? Because when you got to Hot 97 was Hot 97. So under your watch, under your tutelage, under your leadership, under whatever reign that you want to have it, or what people would say under your control, Hot 97 is worse off than it's ever been. So I hope the next person that comes in allows New York artists to be New York artists, not making music sounding like from Chicago, from Atlanta. I mean, let's keep it real. From Canada. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. From London. Having our own New York sound, which we do. And we need to get back to. Music has to sound like New York if you're a New York artist. It's cool to be from New York. It's cool to be from Brooklyn. It's cool to be from Queens. It's cool to be from Manhattan, Harlem, Spanish Harlem. It's cool to be from these areas, bro. It's cool to be from Staten Island. I know people like to give Staten Island a whole lot of flack, but Staten Island is New York City as well. So at the end of the day, I hope the next person comes in, understands the new culture, understands that you have veteran artists, you have new artists that need, I want to say, it would benefit not just that artist, but it benefits the station for allowing local artists to have a space to shine and for the city to sound like New York City. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Shout out to my bro Biggs in the building. Make sure you hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. My dog growing Jack, John Cena retired last night too. End of an era. Shout out to John Cena, man. John Cena been doing this thing for a long time. For a long time. Yo, wrestlers be wrestling, bro. Wrestlers be wrestling, bro. Like, I would think John Cena was started like at 18, 19. And John Cena's what, like in his 40s? At least in his late 40s. The dudes be wrestling, bro. That's a lot of wrestling for a long time. They be wrestling. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. This has been a debate. A lot of stuff has happened in the last 4 days. 3 days. Riddle me this, y'all. The best West Coast rapper debate. The best West Coast rapper debate. Is it really between Tupac, Kendrick, Ice Cube, Snoop? But the game, the rapper, the game is putting his name in that box, in that conversation, and says that there's nobody that could out-rap him at this point in time from the West Coast. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Is the game the best rapper from the West Coast? I don't think from what he said, I gather he's talking about right now. I don't think this is a all-time thing. I don't think he's saying all-time. I think he's specifically saying right now, but I also believe all-time he feels like he's one of the best all-time from the West Coast. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. And he's had this conversation with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay. And it's a very interesting conversation. To say that nobody can out-rap him, I'm not mad at that, because as an artist, as a rap artist, you have to have that confidence. Whether you new or whether you a veteran artist, especially if you're a veteran. If you're a veteran rapper from any coast that's about your lyrics and about your bars, you're going to say that and wholeheartedly believe that. So I'm not mad at the game for even believing that. I'm not mad at that, because when you believe it, you can achieve it. You just got to go out there and do it. Some people believe that he has a claim to this. Some people really feel that way. Some people really feel that he's an elite lyricist. People really feel this way. Obviously, he feels this way. Me personally, I think the game is a good rapper. I think he's a great rapper. I think he is warrant legendary status, especially to the West Coast, for sure. Can he be a rapper in any genre? Well, not any genre, but is he amongst one of the greatest of all time? I wouldn't put him in my top 10 personally based on my preference of music, but I don't think that you can make a top 100 rappers and not have the game on there. And that depends on preference. If we're saying solely on lyrics, I don't think you can have a top 50 best rappers of all time lyrically without having the game on there. And mind you, his style is not necessarily my preference as far as lyrical ability. Just lyrical. I'm not talking about the music. Because y'all know how I feel about West Coast music. I love West Coast music. The beats them beats is a cheat code. I ain't gonna hold y'all. West Coast beats is cheat codes. The bounce, the style is fire, right? One of my favorite rappers is from the West Coast. Shout out to Richie Rich. He's one of my favorite rappers, period. But the game, lyrically, bar for bar, can say that he's one of the best rappers from the West Coast of all time. And he can say that he got out rap a lot of rappers from the West Coast, even right now. If he was in the ring with the top tier of the West Coast rappers, I think the game would actually, I think he would get a lot of them up out of there. To say that he's the best, I wouldn't expect them to say anything less. Are they going to show it? Are they going to prove it? You got to listen to the music. Got to listen to the music. Me personally, I'm not going to say the game music is my go-to, but I've listened to quite a few game albums to form that opinion. I listened to quite a few game albums to listen to as a fan and not like as just to sit there and critique and be like, yeah, nah. Because you know when it's a difference when people listen to your music to find something good about the music opposed to finding something negative about the music. I've listened to game music and trying to finding the good in the music. And there's a lot of good in the music. My biggest critique in games music has always been the constant name dropping, you know, the constant shout out to Eazy-E and da da da. And it's important to shout out the legends, but it feels like that's a part of all his raps, in my opinion, or a lot of them. So I'm not mad at him for saying this because, hey man, being a rap artist is a very cocky thing to, you know, especially when you about your bars. Y'all know how I feel about my bars. Y'all know how I feel about mine. I don't play. I don't play. Any artist come for me, you better buckle up. And that's lyrically. I say that with my whole chest. Like real talk, when I record, I come up with beefs in my head. I come up with beefs in my head just to let y'all know that this sword is real sharp over here. You see what I'm saying? This cut real easy over here. And the only person that could pick this up is me, like Thor. You know what I'm saying? Instead of using a hammer, I use a long sword. You know what I'm saying? Pause. I keep it sharp over here. You feel me? And that's all time. And I don't play about it. So I'm not mad at him for not playing about his bars and how he feels. So I can't be mad at that. Can't be mad at that. But a part of having an opinion is actually listening to music. I hate when people try to give critique on somebody's music and they've never listened to the music with the agenda to really like hear what the artist is saying and what other people are saying that's been positive about it. Don't listen to music just trying to hate and be like, oh, nah, you can't judge music based on the first few bars. You have to listen to it over and over again to really form a real critique on the music. So I've listened to game music, like I said, as part of like really wanting to enjoy the music and not as a hater, not looking to critique every piece of it. So I'm not mad at him for saying that. Shout out to Rowan Jack from West Coast, just makes him this. I can't finish that, bro. With Jack, East Coast rap is superior. A shout out to Richard Oliver. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. But Biggs, I see Biggs in the chat. What you think about that, bro? But so yeah, like, and even me being from Brooklyn, New York, I take this lyrics and this bars thing serious. The lineage from Brooklyn rappers, born and raised in Brooklyn, you know the lyrical lineage. You know the lyrical lineage. And then when you add New York City as a whole, that lyrical lineage, that's a gauntlet. That's not something to play with. We have real live, different monsters lyrically in New York City. Hands down. I feel like I'm damn sure one of them. Just go listen to the music. But you don't play with it. You don't play with it. So I'm not mad at him for saying that. Not mad at him for saying that. A shout out to Richard Oliver, major respect. Appreciate that, my dude. Appreciate that. Again, if this is your first time tapping in, it's the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, and I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. CEO Fawn Weaver of the Uncle Nearest Whiskey had a very viral moment that ended up to be very weird. Her viral moment, she was doing some sort of product launch, and she's back home at her local city, and she had an interaction with a man who came to show her some love, but he said to her, "Hey, don't you remember me? I'm one of your former classmates. I was in the same class as you in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Do you remember me?" Her response was, and it was very tacky, might I add, the way she responded. She was like, "No, I don't remember you." And he was like, "For real, like, you don't remember me? Like, we was in the same class." And then she was like, "Y'all, this man just told me that we was in the same grade for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And like, he asked me if I remember, and I don't remember him." And he's like dead serious. And she's saying this to the crowd, kind of like in an embarrassing type of mode. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat based on that viral video. Because when I seen that, I thought that was extremely pitiful and extremely tacky. You're there as a CEO during your product launch, so you're already up, and you had quite a few people coming out to support you. So to belittle this man, because that's how that came off completely. Belittling this man, not keeping your interaction personal and making it about everybody else, basically trying to make him look bad. And how old are you if you don't even remember your classmates from the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade? Like, how like, where they do that at? Like, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, as I always do. I'm 41 years old. I'm 41 years old. And I've been around the world. I accomplished a lot of things for myself. Not saying this to brag, but when I go back to my neighborhood, my schools, as big as it was at the time, it's literally this big now, because I've seen the world. So when I go back to my community, the places that I used to think that was so huge and so big, and it took me damn near all day to walk through this place, is tiny to me now. But I remember all of my classmates from 6th and 7th and 8th grade, from junior high school, which is a pivotal time. Most people, regardless of age, still live in their childhood in a sense of fighting their demons from their childhood. Meaning, if you're a hard worker because in your childhood you experienced some things that made you wanted to work hard, so that way you don't have the same circumstances, right? You went through some sort of trauma in your childhood that affect you in your adult life, whether it's negative or positive, point blank. So for her not to remember a classmate, not somebody that was in the school somewhere, that was in another class, somebody that was her classmate for 3 years, you don't remember them? You're out of touch. You're out of touch. There's no world. You've seen the world that much when you don't remember this person from your class. That's crazy. If that don't scream out of touch, I don't know what else does. And the fact that you made it so you made it bigger than what it had to be, instead of keeping y'all interaction personal. You made it like a big thing where it made this man like it was like a tactic, like it was an embarrassing tactic for this man, putting him on blast, putting him on the spot. Hey y'all, he said we was in the class. I don't remember him. Do that make you feel better about yourself? Again, you there as a business owner getting support from your brand for your whiskey, and you found it compelling enough to embarrass one of your old classmates that was in 3 classes with you. Again, because I'm 41, I remember all my classmates. So you have to be what, in your 60s? Because you don't look nowhere near your 60s. You look like you're probably in your late 40s, early 50s. The point that I'm making is, how do you forget your classmates from the 6th or 7th grade? That's a pivotal time in your life that sticks with you forever. So I call bullshit. I call bullshit. I honestly believe that she did remember him, and that was her way of trying to like step on somebody. Remember this, y'all. When you get in position, whether it's opportunity, job, or finances, and sometimes that's all in one. Remember, the meek shall inherit the earth. You only one decision away from being on the other side of it. So never lose your humility, because I guarantee you, if you wasn't feeling like you was up, oh yeah, I remember you. Even if you did not remember this man, because that somehow, some way, for the possibility of that, that's the type of interaction you keep private. I don't know, maybe because I'm from New York, and I don't want to make this a New York thing, but this is, to me, is a personality thing. This is not a New York thing, so let me remove that. This is a personality thing. Regardless of where you're from Florida, Virginia, New York City, California, you don't forget your damn junior high school classmates. People that was in your class for several years. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Send her to Turkey. I agree with you on that, Rowan Jack. That is for sure. Send her to Turkey. Absolutely. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Does the NBA as a culture have a front runner culture for the players? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Does the NBA have a front runner culture for the players in the NBA? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, does the NBA have a front runner culture for the players? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I'm going to say hell yeah. The players run the league. Simple and plain. They could want to be somewhere one day, and because they not winning, they want to leave the next day. Again, I don't know, maybe I'm just from an era where I watched the players in the NBA when I was coming up as a child. When the team wasn't good, they stuck with the team to help the team become better. Anytime I played or chose teams when I was coming up as a kid, I played football, I played basketball. I've always played with the teams that sucked on purpose so I can be one of the key cogs of changing the team around. Except for one team. Shout out to Brooklyn Skyhawks. Brooklyn Skyhawks had a lineage for winning, but they more so had a lineage for battling when I played with the Skyhawks. When I was a little kid, shout out to the Warner Conference. But when I joined the Skyhawks, they went a couple of years from winning like their last championship. It was a while, but they was always a battle team. And I chose the Skyhawks because that particular team hadn't won a championship in a minute. And I was like, yo, if I go to the Skyhawks, yo, we could win something. And we end up going to the championship and we lost. But the point and the fact of the matter is that I'll always attach myself to teams that needed the help to become a winning team. Like I told y'all, the first scholarship I ever got offered when I was a kid was 12 years old. No, 11 years old. No, 12 years old to Hofstra University. Rest in peace, the legendary coach, Joe Gardy. Then at 13 to Delaware State University. Now, the high school I ended up choosing to go to, I got scouted to go to the school. Mind you, the school wasn't good in football. It wasn't good in football. They had some success on the lower tier, what they would call 5A or 4A. They had some success in the lower tier. Now that they in the highest tier at Fort Hamilton, when I got there, it wasn't good. But you had some good players. So I feel like I was a part of that change. When I came in the senior year, that senior crew that year, you had some good seniors, but they lost a lot of games. The very next year, that junior crew, they went to the semifinals. I mean, that team was good. And then, like, my year as freshmen, like, we turned it up, but we also underachieved. So we went to the championships a couple times in the times that I was in high school. So I've always wanted to be a part of the teams that didn't have it all and wanted to be a part of the change. In the NBA in itself, if they're not winning, they so quick to be like they want to join the big three. They want to be on the all-star team. It's like they're like super team whores. They super team whores. They want to jump on a team that's good already, ready-made. They want to just ball. They just want to play. What happened to being a leader? What happened to saying like, yo, I was a part of building something, and now we're really like year in, year out contenders? That's why I love watching San Antonio, because their team is homegrown. Their team is homegrown outside of their point guard. Oh my God, De'Aaron Fox. Outside of him, the rest of the team is homegrown. These are guys that they drafted. These are guys that they're building up, right? You don't hear that team wanting to be traded out or whatever because they're homegrown. They building within each other. But when you have superstars that pick places that they want to go, like I gave so much prop to Giannis Antetokounmpo because he won an NBA Finals by himself. He had a good team. They had a good team. But he was the superstar of that team. Period, point blank. And he was dominant. Now all of a sudden he wants to go to the Knicks. The Knicks have built themselves up. The Knicks have been terrible for damn near like 30 years. Been terrible. Since I'll say like 20 some years. Since like 99, 2000, Knicks have been terrible. Now they have made a change. They made a turnaround. The Knicks are pretenders, but they are high-class pretender. And what I mean by that is this. They're always going to go to the first round, second round in the playoffs, maybe even the conference finals. But we don't really see the Knicks in the finals like that. And that's mainly due to the style of how they play, not the talent. They have enough talent where they could go to the finals. They have enough talent where they could actually win a championship. But it's their style of play that changes all of that, right? You got Giannis Antetokounmpo like, yeah, I want to go to the Knicks. So now we front runners now? Like, where they do that at? You had Kevin Durant, yeah, now I want to go to Houston after they done had a couple of nice drafts. They done built their team up. I want out of the Suns. Well, mind you, he wanted to go to the Suns. He wanted to go play with Devin Booker. He wanted to bring in Bradley Beal. And they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't even get to the playoffs. So you got all these super team whores that want to jump from team to team and not build nothing up. What happened to competitive nature? That's why I love that era when I was a kid with the superstars of the team was really the superstar. Like if they was trash, they really went in the offseason, build their body up, build their energy up, and was like, yo, we need to draft this kid, or we need to add this one key piece. And this one key piece, he's not a superstar, but he's a role player that can help us elevate this team. Now all these superstars want to go play with other superstars. Where they do that at? When I look at the Clippers, you mean to tell me the Clippers got Kawhi Leonard, James Harden? They just a couple days ago, outside of releasing Chris Paul, you got those superstars on one team, and it's already being dismantled. Super team whores. And then now you got Ja Morant. It's been reported. He hasn't said this out his mouth, so I can't really hold stake in this. But it's been reported that he wants out of Memphis and wants to go to a super team. I can get why he wants out of Memphis. I can get that. Nothing wrong with a superstar wanting to leave where he's at. But go to a place that needs a superstar. Don't go to a team. Don't go to Minnesota, bro. Don't go to Minnesota, bro. Because if you go to Minnesota, the style of how he plays and how Edwards play, it's not cohesive. Now, if Ja Morant played with a guy like Kevin Durant, that style of play would be cohesive. Not just from a superstar standpoint, but from a style of play standpoint. But go to a team that needs a superstar. Don't go to a team that already have guys. Like, I don't want to see a Ja Morant on a Minnesota, on a Cleveland, on a Phoenix, on what's another place that has like that style of play? Like, it's just certain places he shouldn't be going to. Go to a place, if this is true, go to a place that needs a superstar and rebuild over there. These super team whores, bro, is killing the game of basketball, in my opinion. So I'm agreeing with the statement where the NBA have a front runner issue amongst the players. It's in the culture now. Players want to play with other great players, want to go play with other great players. They don't want to compete against these guys. They don't want to help develop the guys on their team. What happened to the days where a player couldn't shoot, and then in the offseason, he comes back gunning? We used to have that in the league. Where guys coming to the league can't shoot a lick, now they shooting. Now they shooting it up. I remember a guy like Channing Frye from Arizona coming to the league being basically a post type of player. Inside, maybe high post, maybe high pick and roll, but he was basically a low post player. Had a couple of summers, now he was shooting threes. What happened to development? I remember a guy like Michael Jordan, when he came into the league, his handles vastly improved from when he was at North Carolina. Vastly improved. So much to the point where the Bulls, he was basically the point guard. If you look at Michael Jordan's stats, he averaged career like damn near like 6 assists a game. That's a lot of assists for a guy that averaged like well over 33 points a game. And mind you, if you look at them teams, he didn't have nobody to pass the ball to like that. He ain't had nobody to pass the ball to like that. BJ can play, but he's not a scorer. Bill Paxton can play, but he's not a scorer. These guys are shooters. Steve Kerr can play. He can play, but he's not a scorer. He's a shooter. Scotty's not a scorer. Look at his career stats. He's not a scorer. Rodman is not a scorer. Harvis Grant was not a scorer. Luke Longley was not a scorer. Bill Cartwright, he was aggressive. If you look at his stats, he was aggressive, but he's not no scorer, bro. So what happened to improvement? When you playing with these guys, pause, on your team, and he's not good at this, he's not good at that, you're not good at this, what happened to having a season and an off season to develop? These front runner whores is killing the game, bro. And like the NBA used to be so popping because of the competition, because of the style of play. Where's the style of play? Everybody plays the same and everybody wants to play with each other. Nobody wants to go against each other outside of Ant-Man. Ant-Man like going against other players, other great players, I should say. Shout out to Ant-Man, by the way. If you're the best player on your team, Ant-Man coming for you. I love that. What happened to that? We need more of that. Like, everybody wants to play with each other. And Pablo Banchero, he's the same way. You nice on your team? All right, stop me, bro. I'm going to give you this work. I'm going to give you this work. So we need that in the NBA. I hear what they tend to do to the coaches' wives. Yeah, players run the league. Yeah, I spoke about that on the previous show. Where players for years now, if they don't get suitable time, they take it out on sleeping with the coach's wife, which is crazy to me. It's like, don't she got to say so in that? So she just down for the pound. So obviously the coach is just a terrible dude where it made the wife be like, yeah, I'm a sleep with this dude on your team. And when the dude is like, yeah, I'm going to sleep with your wife. That is very real. And this happened to many coaches. Many coaches. That's very real. That's very real. You know what type of petty you got to be? Or were you going to sit me on the bench? All right. I got a bench I know you ain't going to appreciate that I'm going to sit on later. All right. And you would think the player and the coach got the same schedule, right? Which is crazy to me. Y'all laughing at me in the chat. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Rapper 21 Savage says on the podcast, we need to make a city for all crash outs, for them to have a battle royal. Drop them all in one area and let them crash out, take each other out, and let them stay there. They don't come back into society. They stay in crash out land. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I think this is quite interesting. Now, some people might be mad at what he said, basically saying that it's a bit ironic based on the type of music that they feel 21 Savage makes and that he's the one saying this. Does it matter who's saying it? It does. But the message is still loud and clear. I see the take that he's coming from. Where you have people that's out here that have no desire to live because we live in death culture. We have it in the music, we perpetuate it in the things that we watch on TV and in movies. So what do you think is going to happen? I said on previous episodes, the things that you watch, the things that you eat has effect on how productive you're going to be in your life because you're taking in that. So what that means is if you have general fear in your life, is mainly from the things that you watch and what you eat. The last thing that you ate was scared to death before they died. And now because you done cooked them up, you got that in you now. You're afraid. And you're buying what you could afford. Fear. Now you're watching, and I'm just saying it for example purposes, but it's a part of it. Love and Hip Hop, Baddies, Zeus Network. You watching these programs where it programs to think that people crashing out is an actual go-to, is an actual thing that you can do. For example, if you're around people that have critical conflict resolution, as an individual, when you go through your conflict, you're going to learn how to properly assess the conflict and learn how to resolve it without having to crash out. But when you're exposed to what you eat that has fear and what you watch that embodies fear, is only going to build more crash out. So I agree with 21 Savage with the sentiments that we need to have a purge city. People that want to purge, okay, cool. But hey, when you go there, it ain't no coming back, bro. That's where you live. That's where you stay. That's all you right there, Playboy. That's all you. And at the end of the day, this is what you sign up for. If you want to take yourself out, then take yourself out. Because if we rid people of this type of energy, we will have a better society. And that's the bottom line of it. You're not going to have a better society by keeping crash outs among civilized people. Now, is people still going to have fist fights and still get into it? Of course. Of course. But a fist fight is different from a crash out. It's not the same. A crash out is somebody who's literally, yo, that's die today. Huh? I got something to live for. Now, if I'm going to die today, I'm going to die hard, like Bruce Willis. Pause. But at the end of the day, crashing out should not be the go-to. And the only reason why it's the go-to is because it's embodied. It's a stitch in our culture right now because of the deaf culture in the music, because of the things that we watch, and because of the things that we eat. Real talk. Shout out to the EJ in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. There's an island in Little St. James I hear is not being used right now. Yo, shout out to Rowan Jack, man. That's funny. I'm telling you, send them all there. You want to crash out, send them all there, man. Send them all there. Like, we had so much to cover tonight that I'm not going to get to it all tonight because we've had we had several mass shootings just within the past couple of days. And this is what made national news. So imagine the things that didn't make national news. That was King Crash Out. I'm trying to tell you, man. Trying to tell you. Whatever you are carrying, hate, fear, sadness, when you live, when in your life, you get shocked in what will spill out. Carry peace. Facts. Again, people always gonna have disputes. We're human beings. People gonna have fights, fist fights. We're human beings. We just getting some act right. But to me, I separate a fist fight from crashing out. A crash out is somebody who's really ready to risk it all, mainly because you have nothing going for you. We have a culture where people rather die than live. People rather die and live rough and live hard and having to get themselves out of bad situation than to live and tough it out and figure it out. It's much harder to live and figure it out. It's easy to live when everything is figured out for you, when you're a front runner. Easy. So send these people to King Crash Out Island and let them crash out. You're not going to get me and mines in the crosshairs. My dog Rowan Jack Washington has a mutual combat law. Bring them here. Really? That's interesting. I got to look that up. That's interesting. Because then I'm gonna go deeper into that. Pause. Like I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's something to be said. And it makes me wonder why that is and what's the history of it. So that, Rowan Jack, you just put me on to something. I bet. I'm going to look that up. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question. Do we need cultural consistency in hip hop? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Do we need cultural consistency in hip hop? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. And don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show, especially if you have done it already. So again, the question is, do we need excuse me, do we need cultural consistency in hip hop? Me personally, yes. Yes. There's so much talent in hip hop, musically, culturally, with the style, the way we talk, the way we embody it. Hip hop runs the world. Hip hop is culture. You have people imitating hip hop near and wide, near and far. But what the consistency that's lacking culturally in hip hop is mainly versatility. And the reason why that matters in this version of hip hop is because there's no more gatekeepers. I will say this, it's not that there's no more gatekeepers, is that as a viewership, as a culture, we don't rely on gatekeepers. We don't rely on a place where we could get our music. We don't rely on a place to get our latest music videos. We don't rely on a place where we hear about the new greatest artist in a magazine. We rely on the internet. And as long as we have that, there can be maintained balance and the versatility in hip hop. Always need truth tellers in hip hop. Always. We always need entertainers in hip hop. Hip hop needs a balance. Hip hop is not monolithic. This is why hip hop was great and still great. It just needs a different pivot. But you hear of the golden age in hip hop where you had Tupac, a Biggie, Jay-Z, a Mace, DMX, Tribe Called Quest, Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Nelly, Trick Daddy, Pitbull, Mac Dre, UGK, Eight Ball, Twister, Master P, Big Timers. I named those artists for a reason. All vastly different, all have different messages, but can exist in the same space in hip hop. And it's necessary because us as a culture, not just us as a culture as far as our race, but our experience is not monolithic, it's not the same. LL Cool J, Public Enemy, Run DMC, all vastly different, different styles. EPMD, Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, Wu-Tang, vastly different. So that's why that era is so celebrated. And I'm not saying other artists because they're not big, pause. I'm not saying other artists because I made the point in naming the difference in hip hop. Being original and having a different experience, adding something new to the experience. The Locks. I can't get the name out. Mobb Deep. All different. Different experiences. State property. All these different places represent something different. All these different entities, all these different artists represented a different space in the culture. Little Kim, Queen Latifah, Nicki Minaj, Rod Digger, Lauryn Hill, Rhapsody. Believe it or not, Meg Thee Stallion, Glorilla, all represent something different in hip hop. And it's needed because of the balance. You need the pimp music. You need the drug dealer music. You need the hustle music. You need the intellect in the music. Black Thought, Mos Def. It's another artist that I'm thinking about, but I can't say his name right now. I can't say his name right now, only because it's on the tip of my head. All different experience that I needed. Reality rap. We need 50 Cent. We need Snoop. All different. All different. Different spaces, different places, because the experience is not monolithic, but it's impactful. And because we all could exist in the same space by being different, it's what makes it beautiful. It's what makes it popping. So do hip hop need a space where the culture has to be consistent? Yes. And it could be more consistent than it ever was before. But the focus has to be on being great and not being convenient. And that starts with the music and its images. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. And that's where we need our consistency from in the culture of hip hop. Politics are downstream for the culture. No, politics are downstream from culture. Okay, not mad at that. Not mad at that. There's a space for politics in the music. Education is needed into the music. We also need the party music. That's what I'm saying. All of this shit is needed into the space, into the consistency. And what makes it beautiful is that it's not a monolithic experience. Simple and plain. So that's where I'm at with the consistency in hip hop that's needed. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Will Smith, his ex-friend Bilal, claims that and alleges that actor Bashir Gray have accused both Will Smith and Diddy of SA. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Will Smith, ex-friend Bilal, claims and alleges that actor Bashir Gray has accused both Will Smith and Diddy for essaying him. I'm going to say this regarding this. I can't call this necessarily bullshit, but I'm going to call bullshit. Reason being, it's not that this couldn't have happened. It's not that this couldn't have happened. This could have happened based on me not knowing Diddy in real life and me not knowing Will Smith in real life. I don't know these men. So it could have happened. Did it? I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. Do I have a dog in the fight whether it happened or not? No. But the reason why I call it bullshit is because when it happened, why wasn't you reporting it to the authorities? Why wasn't you helping Bashir look for justice? But now you're selling books. When he told the story, he also was told, alleges that Will Smith sent him to Bashir because Bashir was going to be on the show and he basically needed help with his handling. And Bilal said to Will Smith, allegedly, yo, look at my bank account. This is what I got going on in my bank account. Will Smith said, don't worry about nothing. I'm going to double that by the time we finish with that. I just need you to go there and hold Brashear down. Allegedly. Based on what Bilal has said. So you made these moves based on making money and looking out for your own self-interest. Because let's keep this all the way real. If he didn't have the fallout with Will Smith, who happened to be supposedly a former friend, would he be on any podcast or any show speaking on this matter? And if this really happened to Brashear, hope I'm saying his name right, aka Yaz, then where is the real push for a crime being committed? Because sex acts are sex acts. A sex act is not necessarily a crime outside of gape. If you gaping somebody, obviously that's a crime. But if somebody is making a decision to sleep with somebody else, then that's a sex act. Regardless of how I feel about it. Regardless of how anybody feels about it. But if you really felt the way about justice, why didn't you get justice when you found out about it? Because you know sex acts, they carry a statute of limitations. So after a while, if we're talking about Brashear was going through this allegedly around the time where he was on Empire. Empire been off for a long time, bro. It's been a while. So that statute of limitation has evaporated. So there's no real cause of real type of legal thing that can happen criminally if a criminal act had taken place. So if you was really looking out for Brashear, then where was the outrage then? Where was the you going to the police and finding your lawyer and looking to protect him and protecting yourself? But now when you get cut out and when you get cut off, now you want to sound the alarms. So that's why I call that bullshit. Is it ever too late to do the right thing? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Some people say no. Some people say, yo, nah, it matters because it needs to be on record. Yes, it do need to be on record. But yo, you had a chance to put this on record while it was effective. When you're putting something on record and you're waiting till after the statute of limitations, you're not doing it for the justice. And then on top of it, you're selling a book. You're exploitating. So at the end of the day, that's why I call it bullshit. Because if you was really for Brashear and this alleged act, based on your claims, then you would have did the necessary terms or the necessary things to protect him or help protect him and protecting yourself legally. You saying if something was to happen to me, if I get unalive, then you know that I'm telling the truth. Bruh. How do people wait to be truthful after the fact? Because they won't ever face the full extent of the law. And you leaving things to speculation. Regardless if you say it or not, there's going to be some people that believe it and there's going to be some people that don't believe it. Because you left it to speculation instead of leaving it to the authorities in the criminal aspect of it. Rowan Jack, you stupid. Talk about him too. Talking about him too. You stupid. Y'all stupid. How long did he wait to say this? Well, he's saying this now, right? He's saying this now. He's been saying this, I believe, for like the last, I've heard mention of this particular person for the last year and a half speaking about this. He spoke on Will Smith allegedly, having a thing with the other actor from I believe is, I forget the name of that show, but Dwayne Martin. If y'all don't know who Dwayne Martin is, he was the leading actor in Above the Rim, which is a classic movie. He was married to Tisha Campbell from Martin, who played Gina. And he allegedly that he walked in on him and Will doing stuff or whatever. And if that happened to be true, one, that's not any business to the world, because Will or this man didn't, I just said his name, Dwayne Martin didn't put this out. And two, you wait to say this after you fall out of favor with Will Smith. If that really bothered you at the time, you'd have said it right then and there. Like, yo, Bande Chichi man, you would have said that then and there. But you did not say that. You waited till you fell out of favor. And that's why I look at these documentaries side eye, because it's coming from people that have an agenda. Again, when I looked at the R. Kelly stuff, all the people that was speaking against R. Kelly outside of the victims that was corroborating the stories were all people who was there, that was down and was cool. I was a background dancer. I was a background singer. Yeah, I used to get some of my homies because, you know, Rob wanted to see like how my homies was, but you kept bringing girls up there. And you kept being his background singer. Then you had another guy who was like, yo, I'll tell y'all the rest of the story in my book, but I was the man that helped Rob marry Aaliyah when she was underage. Bro, you culpable. You just as much as culpable. But because you no longer on the payroll, now you got a story to tell. So again, that's why I call it bullshit. That's why I call it bullshit. And mind you, Yaz allegedly said this to him back around the Empire days. Allegedly. So, amen. Breaking. Two dead at Rob Reiner mansion. I don't even know who that is. I gotta look Rob Reiner up. Rob and his wife stabbed. Wow. I gotta look him up. Rob Reiner. I'll probably have the story of this in the next episode for sure. Rob Reiner or Rob Reiner. I'm gonna look him up. Oh, he's a film director. I'm gonna look him up. I'll probably go in depth with this next episode, but he's very accomplished. Oh, I know this dude. I know his face. Okay, I know this dude. I know who this dude is. Wow. I'm definitely going to tap into what happened. He's done movies like Misery, Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, The Bucket List, The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, he's a part of a lot of successful movies and projects. Wow, Sleepless in Seattle, The Story of Us. Okay, yeah, Spinal Tap. Okay, yeah. He's been a part of a lot of stuff. So he's a big wig. I'm gonna tap into the story and properly report it for the next episode. Wow, both him and his wife were stabbed. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Don't forget that them likes, y'all hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. If this is your first time tapping in, I am Ashley Lovechild, and it's the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. The Heisman Trophy winner goes to Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. How I look at this year's Heisman, all of these guys who were up for the Heisman, like this season in college football, I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way. It's been underwhelming. Obviously, there's some teams that played well, but it's been underwhelming as far as personal performances, right? The quarterback play wasn't that great. None of the skill guys was that special, meaning running back, receivers. You have some great players, but it didn't feel like they had big numbers. They didn't feel like they had big runs game in, game out. But if I had to assess the Heisman list, this is how I do it. This is how I look at it. Justin Saying played very well in the system that he plays in. He's playing with one of the best players in the country in Jeremiah Smith at receiver. O-line is good. Running back crew is good. So Justin Saying is a Heisman candidate based on this year's metrics. I probably would have went with Marcel Reed from Texas A&M, but that's just me. Diego Pavia is probably the most important player to his team out of everybody on this list. Because without him, Vanderbilt don't have the season that they have. Simple and plain. So he's the most important player on his team, on a good team, on this list. Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, he's the best player on this list. In my opinion, he should have won the Heisman. He's the best player on this list. The Heisman goes to the best player in college football who was productive and also had team success. He covered all three. And the gap between him and at his position to the other running backs is mightily far. It's not close. So I have Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, as the Heisman in this group. Now, Fernando Mendoza had the best Heisman moment. And this is what took it to the next level for Mendoza. He's been consistent all year, and when the team needed him the most, they score in critical moments. Never plays outside of himself, stays within the system. But when they played against Ohio State, he had a Heisman moment. And he looked bigger and brighter, than Justin Sayre, the quarterback on Ohio State, in that moment, in said moment. So am I mad that he won the Heisman? Absolutely not. He had the best Heisman moment on this list. But I still think Jeremiah Love was the best college football player on this list, and he should have won the Heisman. And this is on this list. Now, who I think is the best college football player in the league, I'll probably say Caleb Downs, and then I'll probably say Jeremiah Smith, the receiver from Ohio State. Both are from Ohio State. So, but they not on this list. On this list is Jeremiah Love. So, but kudos and shout outs and well deserved to Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana. But honestly, this is one of the years in college football where the performances was very underwhelming. It wasn't a runaway. It wasn't a sexy pick. I don't know what it is. We lacked in a lot of big plays this year. It just looked very different this year as far as the performances. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. I'm going to say this. Question. This is a question, y'all. This is a question. Outside the people that's in the chat who are married, for the ones who are single, when was the last time you seen a relationship that made you want to be in a relationship? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. When was the last time you seen a relationship that was so inspirational that made you want to be in a relationship? The reason why I asked this question, because we have a single culture out here that grows daily. And for men, we're seeing the value in staying and being single. And reason being is that we no longer are in. I see what you said, Rowan Jack. I'm not going to let you break my train of thought, Rowan Jack. I'm not going to let you break my train of thought. I see it. I see it. But, see, you almost made me lose my train of thought. But the reason why men are seeing value in staying single is mainly because of everything that has to do with being in a relationship. We're seeing a lot of men who are in relationships, or the men that are in relationships, not being celebrated, not being appreciated. Reason being is that some of us as single men, we have access to women who are single and who are in relationships, whether they have a boyfriend or whether they have husbands. Those women still make themselves available. So because of that, why buy the cow when we get the milk for free? Why? Why put ourselves at a risk financially where we lose lack of resources just by validating you? And that's why you're seeing a lot of men finding value in being single, because we no longer have to marry you to have the relationship that we design and we desire. We no longer live in a mindset where it's happy wife, happy life energy. We no longer live in that model. So it made me wonder, when was the last time I seen a relationship that inspired me to want to be in a relationship? And I'm going to be honest. My uncle, one of my uncles, has a relationship that makes me want to be in a relationship, where him and his wife has been married for a long period of time. He looks at his wife every single time as if he's seen her for the first time. Every single time. She won't go to her room until he come home. And that's just because of the connection that they have. That's because she really sees him as his better half. He sees her as his better half. They really have a relationship that's 100%, where they put in 100% of themselves into each other, not 50-50. They have a relationship that inspires me to want a relationship that has the principles and has the foundation of love and understanding and having a safe place to land with the person that I choose with. Not my partner, because we're not partners. We're not one and the same. I'm putting 100% in and you're putting 100%. That's not a partnership. It's not a partnership. I'm the head of this thing, but I need you to move. I need a neck. I need to be able to see. I need to see side from side. And with you, I'm better. So when we start off with what you're coming to the table with and having to basically succeed to what you have to bring is just this, opposed to learning when you bring yourself to the table and having real assets, which makes it 100%, then it makes the union endless. Especially when there's things that's not points of contention, where this one thing right here, it stops everything else. It's funny, a lot of things that I see on the internet, I don't have that issue with women. And I'm not saying this to brag, meaning, for example, when I have a date, all the dates I've ever been on, I've never had a woman be like, you took me here? This is crazy. Like, we could go get a glizzy, pause, some street meat. You know what I'm saying? 2 dogs, some mustard, ketchup, and a soda to get the sun kiss. Never no complaints. A nice restaurant, obviously ain't gonna be no complaints. But real talk, now that I think about it, I've never took a woman to a top tier restaurant. No, I'm lying. I've took my exes to top tier restaurants after we done been together for some time. It took about some years. Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, I may have had maybe 2 exes that I took to a nice restaurant after we've been together for like a couple of years. Everything else, Blimpies, Applebee's, baby. You know what I'm saying? Get you a little chicken wings, little pork fried rice, get all that, baby. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the little sugar shack. You know what I'm saying? Go get the Caribbean food. You know, taste the rainbow. You know, we go there. You know what I'm saying? Get a little nib, get a little bite to it. So I've never had a complaint on that. And again, I'm not saying that to brag, but the point that I'm making is when somebody like you, when somebody is really rocking with you, as long as they spend the time with you, none of that really matters for real. You could go to the beach and have a beach date. You know, again, when me and one of my exes, we used to go to the beach all the time. You know what I'm saying? We made it a little fancy, bring a little champagne, you know what I'm saying? Making it real sexy out there. Got the little champagne on the sand. You know, in the daytime, you know, we chilling, a little wine or something, you know what I mean? Having a good time, you know? Bring a little chicken sandwiches, you know, from scratch, and good meal and all, you know what I'm saying? But again, I've never had that experience, mainly because I felt like the women that liked me, that they really like me. And again, it's not a brag, but when you're dating somebody, and if they could see everything else except for what's in front of them, then obviously that's not the right person for you. Obviously, the foundation of what y'all trying to build is already tainted. I've never met a woman that tells me, hey, I need you to pay my rent for us to date. What? I need you to pay for my babysitter for me to come hang out with you. What? Never. I need you to get my hair done. I need you to... What? Nah. Have I gotten some nails done? Have I gotten some hair done? Yes. My ex. She was the only woman I ever got her hair done and nails done, but she was my woman at the time. And the reason why I did it is because if we're about to go somewhere and we're about to step out and I'm about to put that shit on, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look like something, boo. You gotta look like something. You out here, you working hard, cool, you know what I mean? Go get your hair done, baby. And I offered that. She didn't ask me for that. Never did. Never asked me to get her nail done. So I offered that. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, she was... I was about to say something. But the point that I'm making is, you know what I'm saying, is that, again, where men in the internet space and in the real world are finding issue with women that are demanding things that doesn't require for those women to like that man. So any woman that really likes you for real doesn't require nothing much than your presence. They want to spend time with your ass when they like you. They want to be all under the tuck. They want to be all up under you. You like, damn, baby, can I breathe? But they want to be in your energy. They don't demand, oh, you got to buy me a car. You got to pay my rent. Bro, that ain't no basis. So you seeing a lot more men finding value in being single. Now, some women will say, well, we find value in being single. No, y'all don't. No, y'all don't. No, y'all don't. It's counterproductive for women because for most women, when you're in a relationship, you save money. You save money. Men, we spend more of the money in the relationship because we're the providers. Now, some women may say their experience of them being more so of the providers in a relationship that they normally end up paying when they're in a relationship. Okay. But that's not the norm. You're just an exception to your situation. And you're choosing that man or you're allowing not allowing, but you're with that man based on you really like him. And at some point, he's going to, upgrade his lifestyle and your lifestyle. So you're investing in him, as you should. But a part of investing in him, I'm pretty sure you like, yo, I need you to pay for my haircuts. It's not a requirement. Hey, if you want me to date you, baby, you got to pay for my haircuts. You got to pay for my rent. You got to do this. You got to do that. It's not a requirement. You may do it just to look out, just like he may do it just to look out, but it's not a requirement. So that's what makes it different. Shout out to Rowan Jack. When I asked the question, because Rowan Jack was trying to give me the laugh. When I asked the question, what was the last relationship that made you want to get into a relationship? Rowan Jack says 8mm. And if y'all don't know the movie 8mm, watch it and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Shout out to Frost in the build. Appreciate you for tapping in, man. What's all the merch you got in the back? Oh, well, you know the KC Chiefs, baby. That's my squad, doggy. But the OUV Records, man, check out the merch. Go to Instagram at OUV Records, or you can hit the link in the bio and get access to the merchandise. OUV Records is the label, where the label model is create, document, and inspire. Got some fire merchandise. And when you get enough merchandise, you get the fire box with it that details everything with it. So, and if you see it, this is the smaller version of the box. OUV Records. Yeah, we put quality into this stuff, man. Create, document, and inspire. You feel me? So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Put quality into your stuff, you know? Shout out to... Yeah, get D up out of here. He's a weirdo. Why are you G? Bro, come on. We live in 2026. We going into 2026. If I was that, I would have no problem saying it. Loud and proud. But you're saying it knowing that I'm not, and knowing that you wouldn't leave me with your girl. You know you wouldn't leave me around your girl. In no setting. So, like, stop it. Like, weirdo. Trying to be a stain, trying to stand out for being and saying something stupid. Weirdo. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. My pick six is in. NFL pick six is in, y'all, for this week, week 14. So the first game I called was the Panthers versus the Saints. Let me pull up some of these scores because I don't have some of these scores because I was getting ready to come on live. But I know the Saints beat the Panthers today, and I know I picked the Panthers to win that game, and they lost. It's something about the Saints that the Panthers just struggle with. The Saints beat them 20-17. Definitely an upset. The Saints have been very underwhelming this year, but they've played the Panthers very tough, and it's weird because the Panthers play other teams very tough as well. I mean, so it's funny to me that the Panthers play better teams better, and they play down to the competition. So, but again, I picked the Panthers, and the Saints won that game in the upset. Next game I chose, next game I called Ravens versus the Bengals. I said the Bengals will win this game. They lost in the upset 24-0. I should have known something was up because remember, I make these pick six on Wednesday, right? Every Wednesday episode. I said this Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Joe Burrow had his conference like, yo, this thing ain't fun no more. In order for me to do this, this got to be, he looked like he was ready to quit right then and there. So I'm like, when I seen the press conference, I was like, damn. And I thought they was working with grease because last week game they played pretty tough against Buffalo, and I thought they would have a better output against the Ravens, but the Ravens won 24-0. But Burrow don't look good, y'all. He looked like he went out of Cincinnati, and if he don't want out of Cincinnati, he want major changes. He looked like he tired of getting hit. He looked like he tired of losing. And you could just see it on his face, his body language. He tired of getting hurt. So, and like I said, I made that prediction on Wednesday. But Thursday morning, he was like, yo, I'm tired. It was like, yo, that's crazy. All right, y'all. Next game I called was the Cardinals versus the Texans. I went with the Texans winning this game, and they did 40-20. Texans look really good, playoff bound, and they're not a bad choice moving towards the end of the season. Next game I call Bills versus the Patriots. I went with the Bills. I thought the Bills will upset the Patriots in this game, and they did. 35-21. Next game I called Lions versus the Rams. I chose the Lions to win this game. The Rams, man, they are like the Rams is up and down. Like one week they look good, the next week they look like dog shit. And they balled out today. They won 41-34. Next game I called was Packers versus the Broncos. I went with the Broncos and they won 34-26. The Packers lost Michael Parsons, I believe, for the rest of the year due to an MCL. That still remains to be seen. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be gone for the rest of the year for sure, but it looked like he might be gone for the rest of the year, maybe until some of next year. But I know certain players, that injury bug don't hit them the same, but the MCL that's not nothing to play with. And that's going to really affect the Packers moving forward because they brought Michael Parsons in here to give that pass rush that's needed for that defense. So not just in this aspect, but it does affect their playoff run. So this is going to be interesting moving forward. The Broncos look good. They're going to definitely be playoff bound. This year's Super Bowl possibilities is endless because no team is really outstanding. And then the team that we expected to be there, which is my Chiefs, we looked horrible. And I don't want to say hard. We just look up and down and not consistent. But I'm glad that we had the year that we had because it gives us a real possibility to make real changes that we need. Like we lost Patrick Mahomes for the rest of the effing year, yo. And it's a microcosm on how the season has gone. So on one aspect, I'm glad we're not making the playoffs. On the other aspect, I hate the fact that we had to lose Patrick Mahomes in this regard. I don't like, he's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in football. And this hurts as a fan, as a team. So moving forward in the draft, first and foremost, we have to secure that offensive line. And we have to do it in a multitude of ways. We have to do it through free agency and in drafting the proper offensive line and gelling that thing together. We have to fortify the offensive line. Secondly, we have to find ourselves another running back. I'm a big fan of Pacheco. I'm a big fan of my guy that came back from his first stint. My dude 29. He used to wear. Oh my God, his original number is escaping me right now. But we need another back. We need a lot of positions, but we need another back. We need another young tight end. We need a number one receiver. That is something we need to go and get in free agency. We need to retain Rashid Rice and we need to retain Worthy, but neither one of those guys are number one receivers. I would go as far to say we need to retain the tall, fast kid as well. He still needs development. But we need a bona fide number one receiver. It's been too many years that Patrick Mahomes is playing with number two, number three receivers, and I'm saying that generously when I say number two receivers, number three and number four receivers. We need a bona fide number one. Our defense is pretty good, but we need to continue to improve it. Simple and plain, and we need to redefine Chris Jones' role in the defense. At defensive end, he's least effective in my opinion. Let him be in that three technique. Let him be in that one technique and causing havoc. We need to redefine his role in the defense. And he's still a great player. Still a great player. All-pro player. Going to be a Hall of Famer. But he's getting older and he's losing a step. So we need to make these critical moves for the Chiefs for us to be better for next year moving forward. So I hope and wish the speedy recovery for Patrick Mahomes. But my pick six again for college football for the NFL Week 14. Again, I went with the Panthers. They lost in an upset to the Saints. I went with the Bengals. They got routed to the Ravens. I went with the Texans. They beat the Cardinals. I went with the Bills. They upsetted the Patriots. I went with the Lions. They lost to the Rams. And I went with the Broncos. They beat the Packers. And that's my pick six for the NFL Week 14. Again, tap in with me for Wednesday for my pick six for the NFL. Also, we got my pick six for the NBA. First game I'm calling, Pistons versus the Celtics. I got the Celtics beating the Pistons. Next game after that, Raptors versus the Heat. I got the Raptors beating the Heat. Mavericks playing the Jazz. I got the Mavericks beating the Jazz. Nuggets playing the Rockets. I got the Nuggets beating the Rockets. And I have the Grizzlies beating the Celtics in the next game. So that's 5 games only. So I'm just going to call that my NBA picks. So that's my NBA picks for, I believe, tomorrow's games and Thursday and Tuesday's games. So that's my NBA picks. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Alive segment. So my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode is delusion is okay. Delusion is okay. Delusion is okay when it affects your outcomes positively. And the reason why I say that delusion is okay when it affects your outcome positively, because you can only believe in you. The way you make others believe in you is by you believing in yourself. So how the hell other people going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself? So having a healthy delusion can help you accomplish not only your goals, but also your dreams and aspirations. So that's why I Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. Is nothing wrong with having delusion, especially when you can control the outcome, especially when you can control the output in the work that you put into that delusion, especially when it's based on logic. And some people say, well, how can logic and delusion be based in the same sentiment? Easily. Most people that you see in leads in any genres, music, sports, business, all had to have a healthy delusion. All came from a place of being a have-not, or most coming from being a place of being a have-not. Having enough delusion to say, yo, if I work hard and I get this education with that, and it doesn't have to be a formal education, but you get the proper education that you need to achieve this goal based on your hard work and working smarter, yo, I can really make something of myself. That comes with a part of delusion that other people don't see about you. And then once you achieve it, then people are like, yo, now I see it. Now you become what you set out to be. And now other people can't even fathom you're not being that. I say that in the space of this too. Like even when I started out in music, I was a whole athlete. And when I started in music, people like, yo, you about to do what? You about to be an artist? Bro, you 5'11", 235 pounds. Bro, you play running back. That's what you do. You're a college football player. You about to be an artist? And now people can't see me not being an artist. See how that works? People cannot see me without being a business owner. See how that works? And this is in every industry, in any sport. in any entertainment. People that lead or people that are a part or people that make something of themselves in one didn't set out to be that. So delusion could be effective if you can control your outcome. You could control your hard work. You could control your output. And that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. Shout out to Patrick Torres, my dude in the building, man. What's up, my dude? Bad news for your Chiefs. I already know. I just spoke about it too. I just spoke about it too. I just spoke about it too. Shout out to my dog Patrick, one of our day ones, one of our badge holders. You already know the vibe, man. Appreciate that, Rowan Jack, man. Appreciate you holding it down as a mod, man. Appreciate that, y'all. Again, if this is your first time tapping in, again, I'm Ashley Lovechild. This is Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. This is episode 220. I want to thank y'all for supporting majorly. Thank you. If you've ever commented, hit that like, hit that share, hit them 100s, hit them hearts. I appreciate it because it does help with the growth of the show. That means you want to see the show grow, and we continue to grow each and every episode, whether it's the old format or the new format. I'm going to continue to put on and do this thing. And once I transition to the new format, the show has even did bigger and better. So I want to thank y'all for continuing into supporting the show. Shout out to the chat for always engaging, and shout out to the day ones and them badge holders. And shout out to the casuals, because I looked at the analytics. We got quite a few of the casuals. We got quite a few of new viewership. But yo, our return viewers, bro, they show love, buying merchandise and all that. So again, I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in majorly, man. Shout out to some of the sponsors of the show, Button Snaps and OUV Records, as you see right there. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit me on my Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. Also, one thing, the presenting sponsor of the show, again, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, and documentaries for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, with OUV Records, the new app is on the way. The app is currently being worked on in efforts to not direct the music to Apple Music and Spotify, mainly because of the new updates. It doesn't benefit us as artists and y'all as listeners. So we finding a better and more direct way to give y'all a better listening quality and also a better visual while you're streaming. So be on the lookout for the new OUV Records app. Also, new podcasts will be coming sometime next year in 2026 to add to Can the Brothers Get a Rap, which would be called Ash the GM, where I basically talk about sports solely. Also, we have the Overstand podcast coming back, where it's interview based, and I interview guests on that show as well. Also on the way, like I said, some new music. The only reason why I haven't dropped new music is because I'm no longer going to do business with Apple or Spotify as far as in the music space. New comics and animation is on the way as well. Be on the lookout for the September for the special episode, December 31st, New Year Eve's special awards episode, where the goal is 26 gifted memberships because we in year 2026, and it's going to be an exciting show. Don't forget to tap into the videos of this page. We got a whole bunch of videos. We got over 550 rewatchable videos of this podcast, those clips on this channel. So make sure y'all tap into those videos, leave comments, and it will help with the growth of the show as well. Don't forget, y'all, don't be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Lose Willie Lynch mentality. Don't try to stand out for being negative. Stand out, have the ability for being positive. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We celebrate life culture. Hate has a location, It's just not over here. And you already know, man, from you to me and from me to you, I'll see y'all this Wednesday at 10:30. And you already know, it's love. And we out. See y'all soon.